And I will start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's see. Next up, then we have reading of the public notice. It says, notice is hereby given of the public meeting of the Strafford County Legislative Delegation Executive Committee. It's scheduled to be held as of Tuesday, September 30th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at Strafford County Williams A. Grimes Justice and Administration Building at Cafe Conference Room, lower level, 259 County Road, Dover, New Hampshire. This meeting will require a physical forum, which we have, but will also provide access to public via Zoom as noted above. Conduct business. Okay, next up then, and I don't believe we have any delegates on Zoom, but I'll start with a roll call.
Bailey,
Present.
Burnham, here. DeRoy, here. Harrington,
Here.
Oregon,
Here.
Howard, Kaczynski,
Here.
LaMontagne, here. Here, Malone, here. Tenza,
Present.
Smith,
Here.
Southworth,
Here.
and Jimmy Walls, here, and Helen.
Here.
Um,
15 out of 16, so we have met the physical quorum. And then that moves us on to item number 6, which is discussion of the commissioner's proposed supplemental appropriation for 2025 Strafford County budget in the amount of $1,442,531. And I will give the floor to Commissioner McGlaris. That's number.
You want to divide for me?
Did we do approve the minutes?
Oh, I am so sorry. I was moving so quickly, I forgot it. I will back up, number 5, which is,
We literally the same thing.
Right here.
I have.
The agenda. The agenda.
Not the notice?
Yeah, no, the agenda.
Oh,
The agenda's always slightly different,
Yeah, the agenda.
because it has the roll call.
I have, it's my fault. I got it.
We know that.
Sorry. So that brings us to item 5, which I had skipped, which is approval of the minutes of the executive committee, August 15th, 2025. I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes. Moved by Janet Wall, seconded by Representative Smith. Is there anybody who has any changes? Janet sent the minutes out in advance, but are there any other changes to be made?
Well, yes, I believe Representative Kaczynski wanted more in the minutes than is currently in the minutes, and as did I. So yes, I object to that.
Did you send any of
I
that?
told you at the meeting, I expected certain things to be in there,
Oh, that's true.
And they're
not.
not. Okay, so as I've just shown with my forgetting to do the minutes, let me write this down. So what, you want more in the minutes?
Well, Representative Kaczynski wanted more minutes. I noted that.
I think that was a special committee that.
Yeah, that was on the special committee.
Okay, so
This is the executive committee meeting.
okay, so the special committee, I did actually write up supplemental
Yeah.
minutes. I had it sent out to everybody in the committee. And to that point, can we just,
Those are separate than the executive.
yeah, I got it.
Those two meetings held on the same day as I went.
So,
Yeah.
One followed
Yes.
the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
so I tried to address
So
your,
we have the minutes to the one of the meetings, does not include this, and we don't yet have the minutes to the other meeting.
Yeah.
They were sent out.
I got them.
Yeah,
I think the minutes for the, okay, so to your concern was with the nursing home committee minutes were not enough. I did write supplemental minutes to the 19th meeting, and that did go out to the people that were in the nursing home committee, but we can send those on.
The August 15th, we already approved them. They were, they approved them on September 19th. They had all the additions, they included actual transcripts
Okay,
from those meetings that, you know, the June meetings that included more stuff explained that. Those were all in August 15th, that special.
okay, so we have.
It's like there.
Well, my concern was with the upcoming election, the legality versus the legitimacy of it.
I remember.
And Representative Kaczynski wanted more in general, as opposed to just the votes went this way and that way. He wanted more of a discussion in the meetings,
Okay. All right, so
which I don't feel has necessarily been done yet. So that's gonna be a no-go.
okay, all right, that said, then I think I can take a voice vote on the approval of the minutes for September, or excuse me, for August 15th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Is there only one nay?
And do people know what they're voting on? We're voting on the executive committee minutes.
Which don't reflect Kaczynski's wish for more.
Oh, you mean he asked it at that meeting?
Whether he asked it at that meeting or not, it was for all the meetings.
So by my count, we had 3 nays, and that would give us well, yeah.
13, because he
Oh, he came, okay. We have that, Candace?
came.
4 nays.
Okay.
4 nays?
3, 4.
Okay, 4 nays.
One or two members who were unable, only at the meeting for about 30 seconds because it was interrupted by technical problems on the audio.
All right, have we completed the minutes portion of our?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let us then move on to the more substantive part of the meeting, which is number 6, which is discuss commissioners proposed supplemental appropriation for 2025 Strafford County budget in the amount of $1,442,531, and I will again turn the floor over to Commissioner Galaris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna have Ray Bauer answer any specific questions you have. We've commissioners been working on the budget since the first quarter. Actually trying to anticipate what was gonna happen with specific expenses that we had. These are the breakdowns of all these, we told the breakdown people. This is something we told you about the executive committee halfway through the second quarter budget. They're just expenses that we did not budget for, that we have no money sitting around that we can pay these bills. That's what happens when you have a tight budget. Things happen sometimes. And when you do, we try to manage it the best we can, but in this particular case, these expenses were so tremendous that we don't have any money to cover that. And before anybody asks, we have no fund balance at all. So there's no way we could use a fund balance to offset some of these costs. We're cash poor. And with $5,000 in a contingency fund, when you have $1.5 million worth of expenses that you don't anticipate, a lot of it was as a result of some of it was as a result of the actions of the federal government and the actions of the state government as well. So, Ray would answer any specific questions you have, or I could.
Representative Smith?
No, thank you for this report. Ray's obviously got something to say and I'll. Well,
I was just standing up in case you're gonna ask me a question.
The question I have for the body is are these final numbers or is there some possibility that the numbers will either go up or down? This number.
This number in most of them are final numbers. The only one that's still in question is we're still fighting the hospital on the inmate bill. As you know, the backup shows that the inmate bill was just short of $2 million. Most of which we got covered either by insurance or because they're contracted with the insurance company, they had to lower the amount. The $300,000, the approximate $300,000 that you see is what the hospitals contest we owe them that isn't covered by insurance or by a reduction as a result of the insurance.
Okay, thank you very much.
Representative Bailey?
So we're expecting the taxpayers to pony up another $1.4 million. And we just heard about how when there's no money laying around, you just suddenly have to come up with money. We're expecting them to reach into their pockets and come up with the money. They're gonna have to tighten their belts. I would like to know how the county tightened its belt. What have you cut to make this the smallest number possible? What have you cut?
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
We've begun eliminating positions. You'll see the impact of those.
So where's that appear on this?
I'm just trying to finish answering your question. We've started by eliminating positions. When you eliminate a position, it takes a while before it to impact. You'll see the bigger impact in this last quarter and into next year, but this is the absolute best that we could come up with.
And where are those? Is it,
Where is that?
Yeah.
what money are you anticipating?
There's part-time at the nursing home, and a part-time and a full-time in community corrections. And that those tasks have been placed on other people. The full-time at community corrections is something that I'll be taking over, adding on to the stuff that I do. No additional compensation.
So how many hundred thousands is that?
Ultimately, when it's a full year, it'll be about close to $200,000.
Representative Harrington, do you have a question?
Yeah, I actually, a couple of questions, just if you can explain, what's a PSP revenue shortfall?
In the budget, and it's particularly the revenue committee, PSP is proportionate share pool funds, which are funds that the federal government awards to regional governments that help manage the Medicaid population. We would have been actually on budget. We could have actually made up this whole amount, but the federal government changed the way in which they distributed that money this year. So we couldn't have known about it last year when we budgeted for it. And so therefore we have, we were short that amount of revenue.
Follow up?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so basically you anticipated $390,000 more than you got.
We anticipated 7 million and we got 6 million minus the 390,000.
Just so we're straight on this whole thing with this prisoner. The prisoner was convicted,
Yes, sir.
but he hadn't been sentenced.
That's correct, sir.
So during that time, he gets sick. And that's why he's still a problem for the county.
Yes, sir.
If he'd been post-sentencing, he would have gone to the state. And they would have-
And I assure you, when he was sentenced, with the help of the county attorney's office, the public defender tried to stall the sentencing out until the end of July. The county, through the county attorney, objected. We got him sentenced in June and now he's the state prison.
And the delay was because he was in the hospital and he couldn't be sentenced.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Well, this couple $100,000 reduction in nursing, what line item is that in the budget?
What line item will it be in the
Yeah.
budget? It will, I'll have to,
Because I don't want to see that accounted for twice.
I understand.
Yeah.
Can I email that to you? Cause I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Would that be okay? I'll email it to everybody.
Yeah, just send it to everybody.
I'll send it to everybody.
Representative Harrington, do you have a question? I mean, excuse me, Oregon?
Yes, so there's, I guess there's two big items because of this prisoner. One is, well, that's part of what the overtime for the sheriffs, because they have to provide security, and I guess we've already, first part of the question is, I'm gonna assume they've already paid the sheriffs, so we have.
Well, we have to pay them weekly.
And the other thing is what happens legally I'm not saying this is a good idea. What happens if we like stiff Wentworth, Douglas and Mass General? What recourse?
Well, my presumption is they won't take any more of our patients from Riverside.
Well,
Oh, well,
go to Frisbee.
nobody's going to take them.
Representative Southworth?
Yeah, you explained this at another meeting, but I wanted to follow up. It's really not clear how much it's gonna cost the taxpayers. Because you had said every town has a different formula related to the county and different percents. So you can't really calculate, you know, a city might have very different, you know, percentages and rates compared to a small town.
Some go up, some go down.
So in other words, you can't take 1.5 and divide it by all the taxpayers in Strafford County because it isn't equalized. Is that right?
That's correct.
It's equalized in the end based on value of every town.
But they can't set the tax
But they
rate
can't
set the
until
tax
this
rate.
issue's decided.
You'd just be guessing, actually, at this
It's
point.
just,
But the Strafford County taxpayers are gonna pay the 1.4 million,
Yes.
however it's divided up.
But it might be $5, it might be 20, we don't really know, how hard a hit that's gonna be.
I don't think it's gonna be, I still think we're gonna come in under the caps
Yeah,
Representative Kaczynski?
Yeah, concerning this,
of the cities, that's correct.
concerning the
We'll never
sheriff,
come under the caps.
Because our caps are more reasonable.
Oh, Representative Kaczynski, you have a question?
yeah, concerning the sheriff's overtime budget, and you might have mentioned it in previous meeting. Is that requirement of the hospital or is that a union requirement?
Hospital.
So did they require that you have to have a Strafford County
No.
sheriff there? Or could you have used security from somewhere else?
Not security, it has to be law enforcement. So we couldn't use, as an example, a correctional officer from the jail, as an example. And we tried, and the sheriff can speak to this better than I, we tried when he was in Mass General to get that county to assist us. They helped us for a little bit, but then,
And so,
they didn't have the staffing to do it. So we ended up having to send deputies from here.
So you had to have armed officers there,
Oh, yes, sir.
or a guy with open heart surgery.
For a guy that raped and strangled someone, yes.
Representative Potenza?
I think that this was covered before, but I wanna remember, where is he from? Where did he live?
I was looking at the county attorney.
I believe it was Somersworth, New Hampshire.
Somersworth?
Yeah.
I assume we're claiming any assets he might have.
He has no assets.
Any other questions? All right, so I would entertain a motion that the executive council recommends. I'm gonna keep doing that, but yeah. The executive committee, recommends a supplemental appropriation to the Strafford County budget of $1.442531 million.
I'll make the motion.
Representative Southwood make the motion, Representative Wall, seconded. I assume that with this, because it's a lot of money, we'll take a roll call vote
Yeah.
on this.
I'd like some discussion.
Discussion, Representative Potenza?
Okay, so, I know that, Representative Bailey asked the question in regards with, cutting. Like when people realize that, you know, unforeseen things happen in their homes and, you know, in their budgets, they have to tighten the belt. And so I just don't, 2 part-time people and 1 full-time doesn't look like, to me, enough. So I'm gonna focus on the sheriff's office, for example. So we should be looking at salaries for one. So we should be looking at salaries. We should be looking at making sure there is no more overtime that's happening. All of that kind of stuff should be put in place. Safeguards now. If there are, you know, 10 chiefs that are making ridiculous amounts of salary, those people should be in a lesser capacity. Like, I understand, you know, you've got, you know, 3 lead people or something like that, but you don't need 10. You don't need 10 managers. You don't need 10 that are making like ridiculous salaries. That is what needs to happen. There needs to be an audit at the sheriff's department, I believe, in regards with all of that. There should be no more overtime. It should be stopped immediately. And then see what this, how this plays out. And I just, at this point in time, I understand it was a unicorn. I get it. But, we have got to start, tightening the belt and really looking at where we are at this point. From coming off of everything that happened with Sheriff Brave. I mean, more than any other time, we should be scrutinizing every dime that we're spending there. And so I just would like, I want to make a motion for there to be an audit of salaries and in that entire department. And I want to make a motion to, so that there's no more overtime that's happening out of the sheriff's department.
Well, I have a motion. Do I have a second to the motion?
Can we do that in the middle of my motion? I do not think we
I
can.
probably can't.
I don't.
And it should be in writing also. I
Okay.
can write it quickly.
Yeah.
And how, I don't think we budgeted to have an additional audit than the ones that are already.
But that would be talking about her motion.
Yeah,
sorry.
let's,
I'm not.
so we can come back to your motion. We're at a discussion of the motion. The motion on the table is for an increase of $1.442531 million. Representative Harrington.
Yeah, is it possible to amend that the motion? Basically, it's a recommendation to the whole, delegation. So could we amend that to say, and encourage the commissioners to reduce spending wherever possible for the remainder of the budget year?
Amendments are always possible. Do you have a second?
And I'd
to the
like to
amendment?
propose that amendment then.
So the amendment if by Representative Harrington is the same as this, but that also that the commissioners look for anywhere possible to save
Yeah.
money.
Encourage the commissioners to reduce spending for the remainder of the budget year wherever possible.
Do you have that? That's our minute taker has that down. Do I have a second to Representative Harrington's motion?
Just for, procedural.
Actually, his amendment, yeah,
I have a point of order.
okay.
So, is it motion germane in the opinion of parliamentary?
Is the amendment germane?
I think the in my opinion, the amendment is germane. It's really what he's asking is if at all humanly possible, if there's any way to save money, that we do it. So I think that is germane to the
That's something we do
overall
all
one
the time.
point four four.
Something that will save $1.4 million.
Right.
It'd be
You'd
nice.
have to have a massive.
So,
Yes.
this money is due and payable. Not part of the budget, it's due and payable, this is a debt. We gotta pay this money. We can't ignore it, we can talk about saving money in the future. Along the lines of what the motioner is suggesting, in my opinion, but this money is not reducible. We've already asked, where there's this final figures, we may see a little bit of increase, a little bit of reduction. We may come up with other money, but at the moment, this money has to be produced. Am I correct or not?
What you are correct,
That's
but
correct, we think.
But what I think Representative Harrington is asking that as we're not done with the fiscal year yet.
Right.
So what he's saying is if there's anything like, oh, you could get away with 5 cups instead of 10, could you save some money? So that's really all he's saying.
Just to be clear, yeah, I understand this is a bill that's already been run out.
Yeah.
And the police or the sheriffs have already been paid, I assume. They get paid their overtime when they did it. So we're not talking about reducing that amount, talking about looking across the entire budget of what's left of the year. And because of this extraordinary expense, seeing if there's somewhere we can save money someplace else.
Absolutely. So that is why I think it is germane to the original motion.
Yes.
Representative Harrington, Oregon.
I'll say, sorry, definitely. So the amount if I did the calculation correctly, is 3.4%, and I'm not sure offhand what the lowest tax cap is. There's several municipalities that have one and some don't, but does that in any way like bind us in terms of like how much?
No,
we can raise?
I mean,
They don't have those committees don't have a veto.
we were, when you passed the budget, we were under everybody's cap.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Almost everybody's cap.
Except we were talking about, I was answering the questions about the cities, sir.
But you're not telling the truth.
Let-
It's not
let,
under Milton's cap.
Yeah, I-
Representative Bailey, let, the administration.
If I could just finish.
Yeah, let him finish.
He asked me a question about.
Tell the truth when you're speaking.
Please.
This is really inappropriate,
Stop.
Rep Bailey. You keep
Not really.
interrupting.
They keep telling the same falsehood.
Okay.
For years
Please.
now.
I'm gonna stop right now. Let us, get back to the work at hand. There's been a question that's been asked. Please allow the administrator to answer the question. And go ahead.
For the cities. It's close to their cap. The cities, as Representative Schmidt asked.
Okay, so that, other questions?
I just would like, in line with what he's asking for, he's asking for all of the departments to take a look again. As should be. And then the other thing I think we should be looking at is possibly our jail. And are we charging the feds enough money to cover? And I know they said $41 in here, but that does not make any sense to me.
The administrator can answer that.
$150 for that.
Yeah,
No.
can we up that?
We just did.
You just did.
From 100 to 150.
I understand.
Uh,
Can we not go back and say, hey, this is just not making it?
There was never any basis for the 100, nor has there been any explanation why 150 is suddenly satisfactory.
I'll be happy to send to you Representative Bailey.
Buildings, power, pensions, everything.
Let me try it again. Let me finish. I would be happy to send to you the calculation sheet that we have to do for the feds to justify the rate.
I'm not interested in what the
But
feds
having
want to
said-
give.
I'm gonna stop.
What
for a
does it
second.
cost?
No, no,
So
yeah,
let me
I
just
agree.
say, we renegotiated the contract. And I think frankly, of course, we could always ask for more money. The likelihood after you just negotiated a contract to have them up the money again is infinitesimally small. I do like what Representative Harrington said. That really makes sense. I mean, look, you try to do your best for the rest of everybody is gonna be aware that we're really under a tight budget for the rest of the year. And therefore, I think that's why it's a good suggestion. So is there anything else until we move on with the voting for the amendment? Representative Southworth?
I just wanted to be clear that I totally agree with your amendment. I think that should be happening all the time. That won't affect the amount though that goes to the taxpayer. Because that will come later. We have to pass this now.
I understand that, as I said.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure it was
Money's already
clear.
been spent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if we spend less money next
Yeah.
month, then maybe we can
And it's not-
have a surplus somewhere, and then we can return that. to
and
the
we
taxpayer.
can't break contracts.
Okay. All right, Representative Barnum?
Thank you. The ripple effect of this, can't speak for the cities, so to speak, but I can speak on behalf of the towns, is going to be, I can't even describe the word, because right now the towns are not getting the taxes that you all think that we should be getting from our taxpayers. The people cannot afford to pay their taxes. And if you're looking into your towns and paying attention, you would be very aware of this. I am very concerned that already we have an increase. Now we're gonna have an additional increase to reflect on our towns is only going to make more drastic problems for the towns. People can't afford it. I agree. And with the amendment, what are the other things that we can look at? Is it the nursing home? Do we stop doing overtime? Do we reduce intakes of residents? We really need to put the brakes and go back. Because people aren't paying their taxes. They can't afford it. They're selling, they're out, people can't even sell their homes. So I'm very concerned the ramification at the local level, what this is going to do.
Okay, Representative Potenza?
I wanted to go back to Representative Susan Roy's statement as well as Representative Glenn Bailey. And I think that you might have missed it. This is what she was saying is we were told that it only costs us $41 and we're getting $150. I just can't in any way, shape or form think that an inmate for one day cost us $41. If you look at, that's why what Representative Bailey was saying in regards with, salaries, benefits, food, energy, all of those types of things. Like, I can't see $41. If that's what we're asking. If you have that data, that's what we're looking at. We're not looking at what you gave to the feds to get an extra $50. And kind of speaking, on what Representative Burnham said, the level of people that are struggling, and, it's a blessing and a curse to have your phone number on the general court website. The people in Rochester that are in low income and low middle income are literally struggling like you can't even imagine. They can't get out of their homes. They can't pay their increased property taxes. They're struggling, like you can't even imagine. Like, if I get one more call from someone crying, it's ridiculous. So, nursing home, this is a great example of where we can tighten the belt. How many people are in there? Let's say there's what? How many people right now?
170.
Okay, so you got 170. So let's just say they start to keep declining. So don't bring more in. You already have a staffing shortage. So you make it so if you're paying overtime and you're doing that, you basically, so if the nursing home keeps decreasing, so this week it's 170, next week it's 165, and it keeps going down, you don't bring more people in. You make it so the staff balance with the people, so you don't have to continue to pay overtime. Like, balance out that type of stuff. Like, and then you put a cap on it. So, because people can't continue to afford to do this, we have to live within our means. And so all of these types of things are really, really important, because $41 doesn't make any sense to us with salaries and benefits and everything else that's in there.
Representative Lamont.
I think Representative has hand up for a while. Do you still have comments?
I can think, I'm sorry, I apologize if I missed you.
No, when you said that we're still under a tight budget, I was thinking to myself, if this amount is approved, it's just gonna be back to what it was, so I don't know how tight it is, but like it was adequate, at least.
I mean, we are talking about paying this bill, and given the population of Strafford County of 131,000 people, we're talking about an additional $11 a person. I know on top of everything, all our bills are high, but to say that we're gonna start eliminating beds in the nursing home to save money, there are people that need that nursing home bed. There are people in the hospital waiting for someone to die at Riverside so they can get a bed. So not being able to afford a nursing home, that's a big problem for the county as well. And we need to be here to provide those essential services that no one else is gonna do except the county. So I don't think that we're gonna be able to keep cutting and cutting staff and budgets and nursing home
I
beds
don't believe it.
in order to save more taxes. We have a bigger problem with not enough taxes from the state going to the cities and towns. That's the problem.
Right, I am gonna call since I think we've had adequate discussion on this, I'm gonna call the question, which was the amendment that was brought forth by Representative Harrington. I'll
Have the amendment read again, please.
can you read the amendment again, Mason?
I think Representative Harrington did write it down, and then she did too.
I can read it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
It would be just after what's written there now, and encourage the commissioners to reduce spending for the remainder of the budget year wherever possible.
Okay, perfect. All right,
I'm gonna vote yes on that, that's obvious.
all right, so, second by Representative Lamontagne. And we'll do a roll call vote.
Bailey?
What are we voting?
You're voting on the amendment.
Just the amendment, yes.
Burnham?
Yes.
DeRoy?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
Corrigan?
No.
Howard,
Yes.
Krasinski,
Yes.
Clementine, yes. Clerk Cook, yes. Malone,
Yes.
Penza,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Southworth,
Yes,
Wall, and Helen.
Yes. That's 15 to 1. So that brings us to the original amended motion now, which was the, asking the county for the additional, appropriation of 1.44 531 million. And we'll need a roll call on that as well. Representative, Howard?
I will, motion to, are we doing the appropriation of 41 for which? Are we?
No, we already have, so we
I
have,
did that way.
we already have a motion on the table. The motion, as amended, was that we needed the appropriation, of 1.44 million.
Yes.
So, the clerk is gonna call a roll call on that.
Bailey,
No.
Burnham,
No.
DeRoy,
No.
Harrington,
Yes.
Corrigan,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Already spent.
Krasinski,
No.
Clementine,
Yes.
Clerk Cook, yes. Malone,
Yes.
Penza,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Southworth,
Yes,
Wall, and Helen.
Yes. That. Nine,
Yes. I have five.
9 to 5. Motion. All right, that brings us, so that clears off.
number 6.
So we are on to. We get the right piece of paper. I have it. So that brings us on to number 7, which is discussion of the commissioner's proposed increase in the amount raised by taxes of Strafford County 2025 budget from $41,995,908 to $43,438,439 as said. That accounts for what we just voted for. So can I have a motion to raise the amount?
I'll make that motion.
Representative Southworth makes the motion. Representative Howard seconds it. We're gonna need any discussion. Nauseum. Roll call vote on this.
Bailey,
No.
Burnham,
No.
DeRoy,
No.
Harrington,
No.
Corrigan,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Krasinski,
No.
Clementine, yes. Clerk Cook, yes. Malone,
Yes.
Penza,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Southworth,
Yeah,
Wall, yeah. And Helen.
Yeah. And 9 to 6.
96.
96. All right.
point of order.
Yes, sir.
Not exactly. I just am wondering at some point if we could actually get the facts of how much the taxes do get raised. Not soon, but eventually. So we really have that in our back pocket, that how much this raised taxes.
As soon as the Department of Revenue, we've been in touch with the Department of Revenue Administration. They're literally waiting for this vote
Yeah.
to set the tax rate.
Because I'd like everyone in every big and small community to know the facts of how much it raised.
It's
And you can have an opinion, but I mean, really want the facts.
And you too. Point.
Because it might change, some of our minds in the future if we know how much this impacts people. It does seem spread out over the whole county, like it isn't going to be huge, but I don't like just speculating on that.
Yep.
Representative Lamontagne, you said 130,000 people and it's $11, right? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, of that additional one.
Okay, so you're telling me all babies, children and all that, it really doesn't work
I
like
know,
that,
I'm
right?
just,
It doesn't work like that, it's like homeowners, right? So you gotta really look at homeowners.
You have to look at the property tax base.
Yeah.
That is correct. That's what we
In
need
its
to look at.
entirety.
Yeah.
So that's what
People
they'll
pay
get.
property taxes right now in Strafford County.
How many people pay property tax?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Most people who live here, because even if you rent, you're paying property tax.
I mean, we do this, what you're asking for, we do this, I was in a cooperative school district.
Right.
So in a cooperative school district, whenever you're doing the budget, you make an estimate of what the impact will be. And I think that's what Representative Southworth asked for, and we'll hand that out to the whole delegation.
When we have it, yeah.
Or we have it.
There you go.
Which, okay, that brings us then, to number 9, which is to discuss.
Let's do 8 first.
We had,
Sorry, I do 8. I miss it. 8, discussion of commissioners proposed third round of tax anticipation note borrowing up to the amount of 1.442531 in 2025.
That's just not a net result of what you've just done.
Yeah.
We have to borrow the money.
We have to borrow the money. So we're raising the tax rate to pay for what we're gonna borrow.
But you're raising the amount to be raised by taxes. And that money has to be borrowed because we don't have the money.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I need a motion to raise the third round of the tax anticipation note borrowing up to the amount of 1.442531 million in 2025.
All motion to, propose the third round of tax anticipation notes borrowing, up to the amount of 1.442531 in 2025.
Motion is made by Representative Howard, seconded by Representative Corrigan. We'll need a roll call. Any discussion on this? Again, let's just continue what we did. Roll call vote, please.
Bailey,
No,
Burnham,
No.
DeRoy,
No,
Harrington,
no,
Corrigan,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
No,
Lamontaine, yes. Surfbook, yes. Malone,
yes.
Potenza,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Southworth,
Yes.
Wall,
Yes.
and Howard.
Yes. 9-6, motion passes. All right, I'm sorry I keep screwing up the agenda numbers there. We are on number 9, which is discussion of commissioners' proposed revenue anticipation borrowing up to $6,962,000.
What it is
we're cash short.
we're cash short.
We pay out expenses as they come in. Over approximately half of our budget's offset by revenue. That revenue is delayed. In 2 most notable ways. The first way, which I believe you all know about, because you voted in Concord, and I won't make this mistake again, Representative Bailey. The legislature voted in Concord to appropriate $2 million to speed up the approval for people getting on Medicaid. Riverside's owed about $3 million right now for people that are Medicaid pending. The state today went out for an RFP to hire a company
To do the work.
to do the work.
That's a fact.
It was a part of the budget.
Oh, I didn't vote for the budget.
I didn't vote for the.
Okay, that's why I said the legislature. I didn't say anybody in particular.
You didn't vote for the budget, you didn't vote for the budget.
So they're getting, now people.
We're gonna go for the budget.
All right,
I don't have anybody to process the bills.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
They owe us the money. They haven't paid us. It's just as simple as that. And eventually they're gonna hire somebody, whether it's a firm or their own personnel. In this case, the HHS is hiring a firm to try to produce the bills so that we.
Produce the approval.
Produce the approvals so that we can get paid.
But this is just borrowing the revenue will come in and pay off
Correct.
the note.
And pay off the
So it's
note.
not adding any
That's
additional
correct.
debt.
It does not add anything to the
No,
taxes or anything.
Yeah, what about the interest?
There's interest on that.
It will add something to the interest in
Right.
next year's budget.
Do we have any idea what the bond rate right now is for the 6,962,000?
It'd be temporary.
It'd be, well, we'd only be borrowing it for 2 or 3 months. You'll notice, I think we put in,
Yeah.
$17,000, Diane. Did we-
Yeah.
For the additional.
Yeah.
That was for the.
That's
Yeah.
this year.
We'll,
There's a chart on
Yeah.
that.
so it'll depend on what happens when we go out for public offering.
Yeah.
Which we need this approval to do. And the other most notable thing is we collect $1 million a month approximately in revenue for the House of Correction. Takes about 45 to 60 days, so we're behind about 2 months there in collecting that revenue. That's the two most notable items that make up
Right.
the money that we're asking.
Representative Harrington?
Yes, just so I get this straight, this is something we routinely have done almost every year. What you're saying is the bills have come in prior to the revenues, but that was anticipated. So you borrow money to pay it, and this borrowing, including the cost of the borrowing, the interest, has already been included in the budget.
Yes, this is just more than we thought it was gonna be, the
It's more.
delay is more. And what really scares me, and I wanna be right up front with it now, is if the government shuts down, I'm not sure how that's gonna impact our revenue.
How fast we'll get out.
Well, Chuck Schumer.
I don't know that answer.
You talk about the jail.
Yeah,
I'll get you next, Representative Kaczynski.
Okay, this borrowing, I just wanna get this straight in my head. Would I assume that the amount that gets borrowed has a relationship to the size of the government in Strafford County?
It
In other words, if you had less employees or less programs and it was smaller, this number would probably be would be smaller, right?
Of course, or if they paid their bills faster.
or if.
I
If
could
they
get,
pay their bills, say, within 30 days,
That would be great.
that'd be great, then we would borrow
well, that's
less.
the trouble when you get in these kind of concocted agreements here where you're dealing with grants. And I dealt with government before doing business and the money took a long time, so we charged appropriately, okay? But it's really, sometimes I wonder if some of this, say, bringing prisoners in, maybe it's not as profitable as it might appear at a quick glance here. Because you're paying part of this money you're borrowing for, and the interest paid is to pay employees to do this job. That's like that $41. I don't know, I travel around, you can't get a motel for $150, you know? I don't know how you can put a.
Diane's assessment of the cost, what it costs us to board inmates, but if,
But you have to extrapolate out the other.
well, you have to extrapolate the revenue. But we sent that to everybody on the delegation because it was asked, it was asked that we send that, so we sent it. We do it every year. It helps guide us in what we charge other people.
Representative Tenza?
No, I don't.
Good.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
I mean, it's a challenge just because
It is.
the government is slow to pay us and we have to pay our bills. So
We're in a very.
Well, the other thing is, we don't have a fund balance to rely
We have
on.
no fund balance.
Yeah.
We had a cash fund balance to rely on, and we used the fund balance.
No.
No.
I understand that, and that's why we don't have one.
That's-
All right, what's your
Rochester has.
So
one,
let's
it's
just,
all
you know,
over the place.
Worst case scenario, we don't get this money from the government. What happens then? You
Well,
can't get blood from a stone from the taxpayers,
We don't.
so
We've always gotten it.
I know, but the government
If
is,
you don't
the
get.
feds are bankrupt. Let's just be honest here, okay? So, just look at that. So like worst case scenario, what do we do at that point? People get laid off, correct?
I guess we,
Yeah.
I have no idea what we would do. We're obligated by statute to run a jail.
Right.
So I
Yes.
I don't know what we, I don't know what we would do. Alls I know is the situation that we're in now.
It's a
I mean, I guess I'll just say that we will, if that happens, we'll cross that bridge. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I don't know what else to say.
That's,
What's the capacity of the jail and how many prisoners are in it now?
495.
We'll let the superintendent.
We have a capacity of 495. That number is indicative of, we have all the right classifications to be able to be housed in the housing unit. This morning I had 336 people in the facility.
336?
Yes.
And how many people do we have staff for?
We have, so on first shift, there's 14 people that operate first shift. On second shift, there's 15 people. And on third shift, there's 13 people.
So are you staff for capacity or are you staff for an average?
I'm at minimum staffing.
You're minimum.
One of the things that we have done, as we have seen the operational process, is I've talked with the county administrator and he suggested to me that I cut my numbers back. I cut my numbers back so that I could minimize that overtime. I cut my numbers back so that we wouldn't be spending as much money. These are all things that I really feel like the county is trying to do, but I will tell you something right now. It's exceptionally challenging to ask staff members to work the hours that I ask them to work, because the environment that we work in at the jail is challenging. And I'm not saying that it's not challenging in other places, because I think it's probably challenging at the State House. It might be challenging as a contractor. But I'm telling you right now, the work that I ask my correctional officers to do, to put up with, to have urine and feces thrown at them, to have your family be threatened.
Yeah.
All of these things are things that happen inside my correctional facility. And officers know that when they come into the facility. I'm not trying to say, oh, woe is me right now. What I'm saying is that we're making efforts to try to minimize the impact that it takes to operate the facility. We're making efforts to try to make it so that the people that we do house in the facility, we get an increase. I spent 9 months trying to get an increase with Diane and the help from Diane and the commissioners and the county administrator to try to get that number from 100 to 150. Because one of the representatives, it might have been Representative Bailey, suggested, why don't we ask the feds to get more money? And it was responded to is that, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. It's exactly what we're trying to do. And as I sit here and I listen to the tough statements that get made, I certainly understand that things are tough, because I'm a taxpayer as well. But there are efforts that have been made at the request of this body, at the suggestion of my bosses, to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to help offset that. And I think that's just an important point that I wanted to make.
I mean, I'll just add to that when we get back into the budget process and we have it split into these committees, questions like that are exactly where these belong, that you can have more in-depth discussions about what exactly has been done in the county. I seem to remember you were like short on staffing anyway. You were at a very minimum. So those discussions about like staffing, pay of staff and all that, we can go in more depth at that point. Representative Kaczynski?
I was just curious, out of the 336 total you have, how many are Strafford County prisoners and how many are federal prisoners?
I'll tell you the exact number. My pretrial, which they haven't been sentenced yet, is 102. My sentenced is 29. I have 115 ICE detainees. I have 63 from the District of New Hampshire. I have 21 from the District of Maine, and then I have 2.
But what he's not telling you is we're watching almost 600 people in the community right now who are ours. Who are all out. So every one of those programs we instituted over the many years has a 4 to 10 to 1 savings to the property tax. So those 600 people, I can assure you that over half of them would be in that jail if we didn't have those programs. So when you talk about getting rid of services, you have to understand the impact of when you do that. Because it certainly couldn't be our alternative sentencing programs, because it would cost you 4 to 10 to 1 more to get rid of them, those services, than it is to operate them. So when as we go through the budget process, next year's gonna be a tough year. Well, we've had about 4 or 5 years here. I kind of related to a heroin addict, okay? We're coming off a lot of heroin here, okay? There's a lot of reality gonna be setting in, financial reality.
It's already
Okay.
setting up taxpayers.
It's setting in, oh, no, I understand that. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's things going on in the state and federal government that we have absolutely no control. None, zero, okay? So when those things happen to us with a budget that is so tight, okay? This budget is not some pie in the sky budget, okay? It never has been. It hasn't been for 30 years, okay? We do a job. We're required to do certain things by law, we do them. We try to figure out how we can do them better. We try to figure out how we can save money in the process. And we've always done that. And we've been a leader in it, a national leader in it. Okay, but at the end of the day, the bill comes due. Some bills come due. We are so lucky right now that our staff in that jail was able to put that man on some form of insurance. If this happened 2 years ago, we'd be in here asking you for $3.5 million, because that $2 million bill, we'd owed it. It's as simple as that. Now, inmates under the federal law and state law, anybody who went to jail, if you went to jail, you lost all your insurances, you lost all your benefits, Social Security and otherwise, you lost those, all that went away. So when you went to jail, you were ours. So no matter what took place with you, you can't deny a medical attention when they need it. Because the United States Supreme Court said that was cruel and unusual punishment, and we could be sued for it for millions and millions and millions. No different than what the state's going through right now with the Sununu Center. I know I can keep you here for the next 2 hours talking about what the state's done in 50 years, okay? The bottom line is certain bills are gonna have to be paid, whether you like it or you don't. Or you need to go to the legislature and change the law. And change the laws.
Representative Smith, did you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, as long as we're talking about the people that are ours, that are out,
Right.
not in the, we also have quite a number of people who are eligible to be at Riverside or eligible for the county to cover their housing that are also out. Can we hear those numbers also so that people understand that we are saving taxpayers, I think millions, by having those people cared for at their home?
I can get those numbers for you from the state.
I'm gonna bring us back though, I mean, so the motion is really that we're getting an anticipatory borrowing to pay the bills at hand. The questions that are all being raised here are all really great questions.
They're great.
And that we will bring them back up, particularly when in January, when the committees come, you can dig into it deeper. And so with that, I'm gonna call the question. This will be a roll call vote on a proposed anticipatory borrowing up to $6,962,000.
Excuse me, just a clarifying question.
Yes, please.
So this does not allow the spending of any money that wasn't in the budget already approved.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's just to pay our bills.
The additional 17,000 that was mentioned is not.
What's that?
That's part of that 6 million.
Yeah, that's
It was already in the budget.
It was, yes, it's already, you've already approved it.
And the extra 1.4 is in there.
Yes,
That's correct.
So we're moving the motion, which is a recommendation to the delegation.
no, not this one.
No.
This one's your choice.
Our-
The executive committee,
Right.
We,
You
okay,
have power.
we have the power to, so we are, the motion is to, borrow,
yes.
$6,962,000.
Up to.
All right. I think that's clear. So now, we have a motion, a second. I'll do a roll call vote.
Bailey,
No.
Burnham? No. DeRoy,
No,
Harrington,
Yes,
Oregon,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Krasinski,
No.
Lamontaine, yes. Parker, yeah. Malone,
Yes.
Potenza,
No.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Southworth,
Yes.
Wall. Yes. And Helen.
Yes. Kind of. All right. That brings us, wait, no, I think I'll get the number right this time.
Item 10.
Item 10, which is, any other business which may legally come before this this committee. Yes, Representative Kaczynski.
So I still get Foster's, probably one of the 10 people in the county, but, I read about the, warming shelter that's going up here. And, and it's not something you would think as reps, I don't know, or members of the delegation, do we have a or responsibility with this or any involvement with this? Because I would assume I would have heard about it before I read about it in the paper.
It's on my list of things to go over, just to advise the executive committee on. But coming up at the next delegation meeting, we'll be forwarding you a package that deals with the construction of a warming center here on county property. It is going to be paid for by the cities. The proposal as it stands right now is that we would tear down the municipalities, 3 cities would pay to tear down the old Humane Society, which is out behind the county jail. We would construct a 10,000 square foot shelter. It's a warming center, not a shelter, I misspoke. A warming center that would be continuing to be operated by the 3 municipalities. They're paying for it now. And then there needs to be a discussion at some point, whether or not, right now, the plan is for the cities to maintain ownership of the building. Right now, the city of Dover owns a building in the city of Somersworth. The Will End Warming Center is in Somersworth, but it's owned by the city of Dover. So the financing of this has been worked out between the mayors and city managers, and now those agreements need to go to their basic city councils. And eventually it would have to come to the county delegation. Now, right now, the plan is to have the 3 cities pay for it, pay for the construction. And right now, the county commissioners administer its operating contract on behalf of the 3 cities. That's how it's operated at present. That's how it's been for the last 5 years. They asked us to do it, so we said, okay, the 3 cities asked us to do it. So, at some point, because this thing's been kicking around for like 10 years, the original idea was to, if we ever built a new nursing home, was to take a portion, only a portion of the old nursing home and run the warming center out of the nursing home. That was, you weren't just building a nursing home, you were getting other benefits.
That's not what was billed to us at that time.
Yes, it
I
was.
let one finish.
Yes, it was. That's exactly what it was told. I exactly told you that. You'll have to look at the record. The record is very clear on that, that transitional housing was going to be used. We have transitional housing now. Right? We run a transitional housing program. So the plan right now would be, because no one wants this shelter in their backyard. No municipality wants the full responsibility of having to deal with this problem. So the mayors and city managers asked the county commissioners, is there any possible way we could use a piece of county land to build this on? Because they have exhausted looking at 1,000 different places where they can build this thing. No one wants it in their backyard, and no municipality wants the responsibility under the statute to have those people housed in their community. No one wants that, but they have an obligation under the statute to provide housing for these people. Each municipality does. No municipality has the ability to do this on their own. They can't afford it, and they don't want to afford it. Okay? So they're coming in kicking and screaming. But so the plan now would be to tear down the old Humane Society, build a new warming center behind the county jail. There are no neighbors. Okay? There's inmates behind a brick wall. Run the warming center as we are. Municipalities are doing it now. The municipalities would pay for it. Okay, now they have had some objections about having the town somehow participate in that cost. And I advised them that I didn't think the county delegation would ever vote to bond that project. I just don't think the votes are there to do it. I'm not stupid, okay, and I know they're not there. So the municipalities have agreed to pay for it. So the plan is to charge them $1 a year and lease the land from the county. And have the operation continue as it is. With the commissioners administering the contract. So you'll be hearing about this at the delegation meeting coming up. By then, the contract will have been finished being negotiated with the municipalities in terms of all the details. The municipalities paid for the concept plans. The county agreed to put out an RFP to the construction world to see who can, we have a concept plan. We're not telling them how to build it. We're not telling them anything. We're putting the concept out there and say, please bid on this. It's a very austere plan at this point. There's nothing in there. It does have showers. It does have bathrooms. It won't be like that. The only thing that irritates me is we're gonna be building a warming center that has more showers and bathrooms because we have to meet the new codes. Okay, than we have in our present nursing home. That's the part that really irritates me, but the bottom line is, what irritates me is immaterial. This is what the plan is to go forward. 3 cities are willing to pay for it. The plan is to sell Will End, the building the city of Dover owns, once this building is constructed, if it is constructed. And that building will be sold. The proceeds from the sale of that building will be used to offset the cost of the construction of this building, and the municipalities will share, 3 cities will share in the remaining cost based on whatever that RFP produces. So that's what the plan is. Now, the alternative to that plan is that Dover will, they've already told me they're gonna do this. They're gonna jam it down Somersworth's throat. They're gonna continue, this Dover City Council wants a warming center. And they're gonna jam it down Somersworth's throat, and Somersworth doesn't want to jam down their throat, and neither does Dover doesn't want to have to do that. So then there'll be a political, row there. But the end result will be that every community will have to house their own in motels, which will become hugely expensive for all 3 municipalities. Because that's what the law says you need to do, and until the legislature changes the law, okay, that's what they're gonna do. So everybody will be on their own. Everybody goes on their own. Everybody keeps talking about saving the taxpayers' money. Well, here's an opportunity for everybody to get together and try to do something to save the taxpayers' money. Because they wouldn't have to put everybody in hotels.
So this will all go in the packet for October 14th. There'll be.
You'll have a packet by then. I'm still in the process of negotiating.
But you have to, at least, the people will have enough time to digest it.
Correct.
Representative Potenza?
Just a quick question, so if this moves forward in
Right.
its, where you feel like it's ideal setting,
No, that's the only setting.
yes, it would be the 3 cities, they would share the cost, so that means the cost for not just building, but so any of the infrastructure,
That's correct.
water,
Operating-
sewer, all of the operating costs, salaries, all of it. How long will the lease be?
It would be a 98-year lease,
A 99-year lease?
98-year lease.
Okay,
And what would happen is that, if for some reason in the future, something happens to change the dynamic of the population, the cities want to be reimbursed for the sale of the building, or if the county takes the building over for whatever reason, who knows what that reason would be. Then they get a prorated amount of their money back if that was to occur, but that's not gonna.
Can we have that in the contract?
Oh, absolutely.
Will never take it over?
Well, I'm not quite sure that that's in our interest, but it could be, we could put that in the contract.
That would be very pleasant for the
Okay.
towns that would be paying if the cities bail.
Well, no, the cities can't, they're not gonna bail. You don't have the right to bail.
You're obligated.
Tell me about Hyder House and how that works.
Well, first of all, when he's talked about statutorily, each
Correct.
municipality is required. If somebody walks up to your town hall and has nothing, you are required by statute to take
Correct.
care of them. This really becomes a mechanism to spread the costs
Correct.
so that your municipality doesn't take the hit alone.
Although it should be no problem to put it in the contract that the county will never own this.
Well,
That's
the
no problem.
county would never own it. What, there's a lot of dynamics here. What happens if they turn
No,
around and
that's
say,
the dynamic the town.
Why don't we hold off on that?
Yeah.
And so I
Get all these-
this is, you're gonna get plenty of more time to talk about this.
That's in there, or that's a no vote already.
But we're not even, we haven't even got the packet.
got the-
We haven't got the
That's
packet.
built in.
Well, then we'll not.
Any other questions? I'm gonna move this along, Representative
Oh,
Kaczynski.
we are on the same subject or?
Yeah, on the same, this is it, yeah, unless you want to have something other business to come before.
Yeah, I had a concern. I don't think if anybody else gets bothered by this, but I don't like having to take my belt off and getting half undressed walking into this building. It never used to be like that at
That's
one
correct.
time when state reps will come here. I mean, you know, you're not getting paid anything for this. Can you please, and
I know,
I would assume that not every person in this room has that same treatment.
Can I?
Yeah,
No,
I'm the chair of the delegation.
No.
I think there must be something we can do. It may be that if you wear your,
if I could convince the judges upstairs that all of you will not bring a weapon into this building, okay? And you wanna sign a contract that says we will sue you if you do, okay? Then I can put that type of policy in place. The judges they want everybody coming through the mat, okay? And that's just the way it is. Now, you are allowed to carry a weapon into the State House, as I've been told.
Yeah.
Okay? You are not carrying a weapon into this building. Period, the end.
Yeah, that's just the
Okay.
flaw anyway. And
Yeah, so, but I can't just have you walk through the door.
all right, so we'll,
The judges won't allow that.
yeah,
Just quick, so, you know, this is my second term, and so my first term, and I don't know, Claudine, you know, right? So, you didn't experience that. There was, so this is new, so something must have happened, not like something bad happened, but something must have happened where the guys down there at security were said, hey, you need to scan everyone, because I wasn't scanned for the 2 years that in my first term.
And we scanned, but not
Times
told to
and
remove
way
things.
different.
Yeah, we can
That's-
remove
that's
things.
The issue.
Oh, they have more windows now.
Yeah, so I would walk through and the beeping would go off because of my badge and stuff like that, and it was no big deal, and they didn't do the wand or any of it. So I assume that it was just probably that was noticed.
I'll speak to the judges and the sheriff, and we can talk about this a little bit more.
okay,
But the times are changing here.
yeah.
You go outside and look at the front of this building, we got boulders and flower pots that we had to put in here so that people wouldn't run a bomb into this building. You know, this is not, I was in this building when we had 25 entrances to this building that weren't guarded by anybody. Okay? After 9/11, we got an order from the Attorney General of the United States. During the Republican administration, we need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so we did it all. We spent a lot of money. Okay, we had a guy trying to come in with an AK-47 not too long ago. He said he had constitutional right to walk through the door with, into the courtroom, okay? We got people trying to bring weapons in here all the time. So, I don't know about the conspiracy theories. All I know is that if you wanna bring a weapon in this building, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on from the, I'm sorry that side of it, yeah.
I don't wanna hold everybody up, but some of these things don't get discussed at different times. So the question I have is, I watched the last commissioners meeting last week, talk on solar panels.
Yeah.
And wow, my head almost fell out. I never saw things going so fast. I thought millions were gonna get spent on the spot there. So I just like to be
That's not,
knowing up front what's going on with these deals. Cause that's getting rejuvenated from the 2022 plan with the nursing homes, that's from what I see.
the idea of solar was a good deal. The laws have all changed. Everything's changed. Okay, when we first proposed that the solar farm was gonna be privately owned, there was a 30% tax incentive for people to invest in it. Okay, so back to in 22, when we proposed that we were gonna do solar, it's gonna save the county $650,000 a year in electrical expenses. We wanted to go forward with that. The Fed said that they would give us a grant to hire a consultant. So we went ahead with a federal grant, then the federal grant got pulled out from underneath us. And then, we said, okay, well, that's out. Now we're gonna have to figure out whether we should hire our own consultants or not, whether it would be worth it or not. And as the world turns here, then what happened was, Trump said he was gonna cut out all, and this is Trump, I'm not trying to pick on Trump, I'm just telling you the facts, okay? Trump said he was gonna cut all that stuff out. And then what happened was, he turned around and said, okay, no more grant. Even though we were a third of the way through the process with the original grant, we asked the people who got the grant, and they picked the consultant. We didn't. They said, here's $75,000, we're gonna pick the consultant for you. We got a consultant right now up in Alaska that's talking to about this. Trump cut the money, and then he turned around and so we asked that consultant, can we pay you to keep this process moving? So we can understand, what's in our interest, what's not in our interest. The consultant says, no, we're done. Okay, you're done. So then we started from scratch again. Trying to figure out who we could get in here to talk about solar and whether we're gonna do it or not. Then Trump turned around and changed his mind again and said, oh, no, now we're gonna fund the consultant again. So then the consultant came back online with us again. This was like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, okay? So now this consultant's back online again, okay? And we're talking to them, and believe me, what they know about solar, I'm very disappointed in this consultant. I can't fire him. The question then becomes whether we just say, see you later, have a nice day, and we talk to other people. So we're talking to people like Becky Campbell, who's coming in and saying he thinks he can do solar here. He's a local guy. He thinks he can do it. It's gonna save some money. So he's brought some proposals in. Revision, who did a big project in Rockingham County, has contacted us. We've got about 10 solar companies to contact the commissioner's office who want to talk about whether they can save us money. So it's in its infancy, okay? The laws have changed. Then they turned around and said, you're loving this. Stick around, next week it'll change again, okay? That we can get 30% cash out of the federal government if we build a commercial project.
That's my other part.
Okay, that's your other part. That's correct. But that's what the administration is now saying they want to do. If we do a commercial project, it's under 1.5 megawatts, we can get 30% cash back to the county. So that's a new thing. They just came out with these regs 7 days ago. Okay?
I mean, I'll sum it up, so nothing is being decided yet.
Nothing's being decided.
I can say, because we did solar at Oyster River, if you go look at the Oyster River Middle School, it's powered by geothermal and solar, it saves us immense amounts of money. Actually, if you walk into the front lobby, there's a screen that will show you how much we're generating. But that was several years ago. And as the commissioner has said, everything has changed. It's changing so much that you can't plan right now. So to be determined.
And one other thing too, I'll just add it and I'll shut up. We're looking, Eversource came in and did an energy audit of this whole operation, said there were certain things they wanted us to do, which we need to fund, which will be in next year's budget, okay, it's designed to save us money, okay? They also told us we ought to be looking at cogeneration using natural gas, okay? We had a $5 million proposal in that $16 million ask last fall to change out the generators in this facility, because they're older than I am, they're failing. He's an electrician, he'll tell you, okay? And they said, well, maybe you could co-generate with natural gas and you wouldn't have to spend the money on generators. So there's a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of stuff going on here.
And we're trying to get educated on it.
Right.
We're going.
Right, we're trying to figure out which the best step.
All right.
I have to put this on.
Alright.
I know you don't want me to, but I
Okay.
just have to. All right, so I'm on environment and agriculture, and we have literally the best committee in the house. And in this county farm has incredibly beautiful green space, and we should not at all be polluting it with a solar farm. If people want to use them on their buildings, I love how you use solar on top of parking garages and overhangs and all that stuff, but you know, you wanna put them on rooftops or all of that kind of stuff, fantastic. But to destroy this green space here in Dover, and I'm telling you, there are many, this is not a partisan issue. So, you know, I really care about the environment and the cost to recycle these, and they don't last 30 years. I'm literally a total geek about it. I've been screaming about it for a long time. I've said that if we're gonna do a solar field or farm or whatever you wanna call it, it needs to be on brown fields, not green fields. And it would be better for us to sell pieces of this property to get money for the county.
There would be
And to
no
do it-
green space if you sold, it would be all housing.
and
Better than.
I'm just saying. If you say.
With that said, yes, Representative Smith.
Okay, so it's come to my attention that there are some concerns among some of the members of the executive committee or the delegation with regard to the upcoming replacement of Commissioner Petrie. All right, whether that's been properly noticed or not and so forth. So it's my belief that that's something which can come up under any other business, item 10. Because I think we've done everything correctly and so forth, but whether the executive committee has been properly notified or not, I don't know. So I'm raising the issue for you, Mr. Chairman, for this, because we clearly have a process that I believe has been properly noticed, properly operated and so forth and so on. We have 2 candidates, 2 applicants and so forth and so forth.
But I didn't bring it up under the executive committee because it really is a delegation process.
True.
The policy and procedure committee met, which I'm the chair of. Nothing substantive at the executive committee was going to occur. There's no.
I mean,
vote.
we have no vote on.
There's no vote, so I was like,
There's a
should I?
notification.
I was like, should I notify you that we met? And it was raised, is that substantive? At which point I was like, well, I just won't say anything. I'll just leave it at, October 14th, 7:00. It's on the agenda. I will bring a report forward from the policy and procedure committee, and then we'll move into the nomination. So, I think that takes care of everything that needs to be done. And I think we've covered everything else on the other business, so I, out of mercy, will ask for a motion to adjourn. Representative Southworth.
I motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Seconded by Representative Harrington. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? We'll be so mad if you vote.